Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting my Reading Borrowed Books part 4. And this time we're actually going to start off with a library book. This book is due in about a week, and I just have not gotten around to reading it because I've been so busy. So we are going to start Daisy Jones and the Six so I can get this read and return it to my library on time. I haven't done much reading on Daisy Jones and the Six. I've just read like the first couple pages, but I'm gonna sit down, wind down, and try to get a bunch of this read because it is due this Friday and I need to get this borrowed book done by then. I'm about 200 pages into this borrowed book, so I'm about 2/3 of the way through, a little under 2/3 of the way through, but my goal is to finish this up today so I can return this borrowed book to the library. I have about 50 pages left and I will have finished my first borrowed book. I think my borrowed book's part 4 maybe, but I only have about 50 pages left, so I think in the next hour-ish I can finish up this book. I just finished Daisy Jones and the Six, which is my first borrowed book done and checked off. Now I can go drop this off at the library. So it has been a while since I updated this series and I'm on my next borrowed book, The Berry Pickers. This is one that I borrowed from my mom. I just started reading this morning and I'm already 43 pages in and already I'm like super intrigued by it. So I'm gonna keep reading The Berry Pickers and I will check in about this borrowed book at some other time. I am still working on The Berry Pickers. I have about 100 pages left of this borrowed book and I am mentally ready to be done with it. I'm enjoying the story, but it's one of those like slice of life almost type stories that just doesn't capture my attention in the way other genres and types of stories do. It's a very well written book. I'm enjoying the way that the author writes both in present and past and how those stories are intermingled and our two main characters, how their perspectives and stories. So you have two main characters that are telling the story, and within their chapters there's both past and present points of view, and it's so well done. It's a very well written. I think there's a lot of impact to the story. It just isn't quite as punchy and like quick of a read as what I'm wanting right now. So I think I'm going to try to finish the last 100 pages of this borrowed book, one, because I know I'm going to be, this one's my mom's and I know I'm going to be seeing her in the next week or so, and I can return it to her then, and I'll put it with the stuff that I need to return to her. But two, I just downloaded Variation by Rebecca Yarros, and so far all of her like romance have really hit for me and they've been very engaging. I'd like to read that, but I have way too many books going right now, so need to finish up this borrowed book so I can get into some of those other books. I had just finished my next borrowed book, The Berry Pickers, so I can put this in the bag to return to my mom. And I really enjoyed this book. It was a story of family and grief and dealing with the uncomfortable nature of humanness, and it just was very compelling to read. It was a short book, and I very much enjoyed it. So next borrowed book done, and we'll see what I read next. I ended up starting another borrowed book, The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, and I wasn't quite sure what this book was going into it, but I'm already 72 pages into it and I feel like I've only been reading for like an hour-ish, and I am really enjoying this. So I actually think I can read this whole book, or a majority of this book, just today, which would be kind of fun. But that's where I'm at, and I will check in the future. So it is, let's see, about 8:30 and I've made it to part 3 of the Heaven and Earth grocery store, so I think I can get through the rest of this book tonight. I just have a stream on in the background which I'm listening to, and then I think I'm gonna crank out the rest of this borrowed book. So let's see what we can do, and I will check in when I have something else to. I just finished another borrowed book, the Heaven and Earth grocery store, so I can return this to my mom when I see her maybe in this next week. I'm not sure, but I read this book in one day and it surprised me. The themes of otherness and just surviving in the world were very prevalent, and it was just a very easy read. So that is my next borrowed book done. Today I am starting Carrie Soto is Back. This is another borrowed book, and I actually want to get this done by Friday. Today is Saturday, because my sister will be here and this is her book, and I would love to return it to her. So I'm going to work on reading Carrie Soto is Back, and then I will check in the future. So I'm just about 30 pages into Carrie Soto is Back, and so far I'm not quite into the story yet, so I decided to switch locations. I'm in my cozy chair in my living room, and I'm going to try to get to at least 50% of this book today, because my goal is to get this done by Friday. It's now Sunday, and then once I hit the 50% mark in that, I also only have like 3 days left on my library book on my Kindle, and I'm about 40%, I think. It's waking up. I am 36% of the way through that book as well, and I have about 3 days left on that, so I'm gonna sit down and just do some focused reading for a while. So I actually finished up my next borrowed book, Carrie Soto is Back, the other day at work, so I did not film anything, but I have now finished this book. It was a very quick read. It was engaging. I really like this author's writing style, so I'm glad I finished that just in time to return it to my sister.
It has been a really long time since I started this borrowed books video. I believe my first one I read in this video was in September, and it is now February. So it took me a while to get through some borrowed books, but that's okay. I know that fall and early winter is a very busy time for me. So no really surprise there, but I wanted to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching my borrowed books part 4. There will definitely be another part in the future, because my bookshelf is packed again and there are some borrowed books on there, and I even have some floating around in some other places. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.